I already knew a lot about the PzH 2000 before I went to Germany. But the first time I got to shoot at the range in Germany, it was like sex. It was like, damn, I shot a PzH 2000. Leopard, Gepard, Marder, PzH 2000. This is just a part of the military assistance that Germany has provided to Ukraine. These combat vehicles have a direct impact on what is happening on the front line. Was it challenging to learn to operate them? How do they perform in battle? What are their main advantages? Watch this video.
It's a German-made Marder 1A3.
The Marder has been a part of the German army since the 1970s. Originally designed during the Cold War, the machine has undergone significant modifications over the years. These IFVs have now made their way to Ukraine, where they are fulfilling their original purpose, engaging in combat against Soviet machinery.
First, it quickly identifies the enemy. Secondly, it engages the enemy very quickly.
Marders were provided to enhance the Ukrainian counter-offensive campaign. The real heroes are the infantry squads that storm the trenches. They require proper protection. The Marder's primary counterpart on the Ukrainian battlefield is the BMP-2, which is Russia's most commonly used IFV. Volodymyr, the gunner of the Marder, has experience on both of these vehicles.
The Marder identifies and engages the enemy very quickly. In the same time, the BMP fires 15 to 16 shots. A Marder fires 150 to 200. And you actually have to hit the target first from the BMP because it does not have such advanced aiming mechanisms.
But it's not only the rate of fire. When confronting the BMP-2, the Marder's 20mm armor-piercing rounds penetrate the hull of the BMP, whereas the enemy 30mm caliber gun cannot reach the infantry inside the Marder.
When you're advancing, facing an ambush from the side, and a machine gun is firing at you, you know it won't harm you. Even when a grenade is thrown in your direction, you feel no fear, because the armor protects you.
Ukraine has received only 80 Marders, that's a relatively small number compared to Russia's hundreds of BMPs. But the confidence the Marder has provided to the troops is evident. Ukraine can only hope that in future more of these vehicles will find their way onto the battlefield.
Behind me, this Mad Max looking beast is a German-made Marder. It's an IFV, but weighs roughly 31 tons, was delivered by Germany to Ukraine to fight not only on this front, but basically to help this airborne brigade become a mechanized brigade. Those IFVs can go up to 60 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast. So there's a crew of 3 people. They can bring in assault troops, so 6 people. Basically, what you saw, the whole like cage around that actually makes it look almost like a Bushmaster, is against FPVs. Why there are chains around? Well, that's because they need to have flexible cages against FPVs. What's interesting is how solid these machines are. So they told me that they rolled on three mines and the crew basically survived. 7 FPVs hit some Marders, the crew survived. So this is a very good machine, especially for this front. And it's also a reminder that the involvement of Germany, especially in these times where Europe is trying to rearm and is trying to sort of finally take seriously Russian threat, can be a game changer here on this battlefield.
The armor is quite a bit stronger compared to a BMP. The downside is that it has an automatic transmission, so you can't drive it as hard over rough terrain or across fields. The transmission isn't exactly what it should be, but otherwise, everything is perfect.
The Marder, produced by Germany's Rheinmetall, was first deployed in Kosovo in the 90s, but remained untested on the battlefield until 2009 in Afghanistan. The 31-ton IFV operates in 6 countries, but Ukraine might be the one making the most of them, especially with soldiers like Cher, trained in Germany. It only took him 3 days to learn to drive it, thanks to the vehicle's simple design that makes it relatively easy to handle for beginners. Yet, those short trainings have some shortcomings.
During the training, we learned how it works in theory. In that system, everything works. But in practice, war is the practice. Yeah, some of our guys showed them videos of how we actually fight, and they were surprised. War isn't like it used to be. The Marders that Ukraine received came with 20mm caliber machine guns. So you understand, this is my hand. This is a 20mm caliber, I want to call it bullet, I guess. And basically these can shoot 2,000 rounds per minute and 500 rounds for 15 seconds. Why it is important? Because when these guys need to clear a position, well, actually they can do it quite easily, and they can bring in soldiers and bring them out super easily while actually defending them against the Russians. During my first trip out of the hospital, some shelling tore up the hood of our vehicle. Luckily, no one got hit. A shaped charge just pierced the hood. It was a tough ride, but in the end, we managed to bring everyone back.
Meet the legendary Leopard 2 A6.
Next to us is the Leopard 2 A6, a German tank, which the Germans say is the best in the world. The tank is good, maneuverable and fast. It moves back and forth at very high speeds. It shoots very accurately. It hits the bullseye at 4 kilometers.
The role of this tank is to support and cover breakthroughs of the mechanized assault squads.
We head out and cover the Bradleys. We mainly work on infantry, on fortifications. But when we spot equipment, that's not a problem for us either. This is an armor-piercing 120 caliber shell. It penetrates any enemy vehicle.
Vitaly previously served as a tank commander on a Soviet-made T-72. His new workhorse is superior in speed, accuracy, sight capabilities and armor. The latter is the most important. Here in the Zaporizhia region, each square meter is dangerous, with enemy TJMs hidden in the tree lines, loitering munitions in the air and mines in the ground. Vitaly and his crew already experienced what is it like to be hit by a Russian Lancet UAV and run over an anti-tank mine. But as you see, the crew is strong and well, ready for the tasks ahead.
Leopard is spacious and everything is very convenient. Screens, joysticks, everything is so simple, everything is made for humans. In the T-72, everything is uncomfortable, with minimal space. And there are all these transistors, automatics, damn, it all falls out. Rattles, everything is unreliable. Leopard, everything is smooth. The optics allow seeing far. We work at the maximum distance, sometimes up to 3,600 meters. For Soviet technology, a kilometer was already a good score. But here I see everything perfectly. It has maneuverability, it's fast, it has reverse gear. Great! Leopard added 3 birthdays to my life. Tanks I worked on have been hit 3 times, but the entire crew remained undamaged. For the first time during combat, the power cable was severed, and the tank just died out. There was no light, no communication. Fortunately, the electronics didn't affect the engine. I climbed out of the tank and shouted to the driver in the flashes or the light from the rockets where to go through that minefield, and we managed to get out backwards. The second time, a Bradley in front of us exploded. It was on fire, and shells were exploding. We started moving away, and at that moment, a Landsat drone hit us. For the third time, we drove over a mine. A 60-ton tank just bounced. The track broke, but everyone was intact. Well, the fourth time, they just made a hole with an anti-tank guided missile, but everything still worked. And because of this, among other things, I'm very confident in my crew. Despite everything, we all get into the tank together and go to perform combat tasks. My driver doesn't even have a regular driver's license, can't drive a car. But here, he's a tank driver, and during training in Germany, they even nicknamed him Kamikaze. We went to places even the Germans were afraid to go.
The manual says its maximum speed is 72 kilometers per hour, but for some reason our speedometer once showed 80.
Leopard 2 hits really accurately. The declared shooting range is 4 kilometers, and it is true in practice. At 3 kilometers, its hit rate is almost 100%.
And the loader, most importantly, must be strong. The physical load on him is substantial. After all, he has to work with these 30-kilogram shells.
The breech opens manually. We open the so-called refrigerator, take out a shell, and that's it. The gun is loaded. During work, we make sure these doors are closed. Then, once the turret is hit, a special system directs all the flame upwards, and it doesn't get into the turret. We have two main types of shells, armor-piercing and high-explosive. The first is used against heavy equipment, the second against lightly armored targets and infantry. In training we loaded a shell in 5 seconds, in battle no one counts time, but I think it's even faster. There is also a 7.62mm machine gun, with an effective range of 1.5 kilometers, which also works well. It's a good machine overall, although now we are short on shells. We have to save high-explosive ones. We need more shells.
And the commander is like a link that brings it all together. If the commander is good, if he finds an approach to everyone, then the crew will be intact and will work well.
This Leopard crew was formed during training in Germany.
It was very hard work. The 3-year course was shortened to 5 weeks. We studied from morning to night all day long. There was half a day off on Sunday, but overall everything shifted from night training to daytime training. But we coped.
Although, according to Zahar, NATO training somewhat differs from real battles in modern warfare.
You see, for them it was like this. Before the assault, aviation clears all enemy positions. Then artillery works. When a tank comes out, everything is already cleared. Tanks only do some minimal work. In our case, the tank does almost the main job. When we enter combat, there are still many targets that shoot at us, so it's a bit different from NATO. If there is enemy's equipment somewhere or we need to support the infantry, we go to a position, work, move away, and wait again. Sometimes we can drive a bit further away where the shelling is not so intense. There we can even get out of the tank. But sometimes we had to stay inside constantly for 12 to 14 hours.
However, Zahar considers shelling by far not the worst enemy of tanks in this war.
Mines, very damn insidious. Mines and ATGMs. FPVs are probably scarier for the Soviet tanks because they easily explode. It's not the same with Leopards. And if there is suddenly a tank against the tank standoff, I think the Leopard will win. In general, it's very interesting that everyone on the battlefield is afraid of tanks, but tankers are also scared. Everyone is so afraid of us that they want to destroy us badly. Every tanker who goes to the battlefield already deserves respect because he overcame himself. He goes to war. Every tanker understands that this mission may be his last.
So lo and behold, this is the Leopard 1A5, one of the many German tanks given by the Bundeswehr to Ukraine. It's getting used apparently every day. Its velocity, its accuracy actually changed and was a game changer on the war. Unfortunately, not during the counteroffensive, but it's still being used today in the Kharkiv direction.
The 44th has to use the vehicle for its accuracy without exposing it to intense enemy fire. In this configuration, The Leopard 1A5 can function as a heavy mobile cannon targeting trenches and bunkers. Sinok, the crew commander, has always dreamed of being a tankist since he played World of Tanks. Now he gets to be a real one on a battlefield, driving Leopard 1A5.
It's mainly for taking out enemy personnel. We can hit them from long range and up close when needed.
It's also fast for a tank, which makes this brigade especially mobile when confronting the Russian army.
We drove it at about 60 kilometers per hour. It's pretty fast, and it gains speed very quickly.
So we're inside the tank. It's, I have to say, pretty tight. And I can only imagine when the missions are long, how does it feel to be inside it, especially when you're shooting at Russians.
Yeah, you're always wondering what's next. But it fades the closer you get to where you'll be working. And once you're done, a feeling of euphoria takes over.
In the 44th Brigade, Leopard 1 tankers don't work alone.
To enhance the Ukrainian army's firepower potential, Germany provided its finest self-propelled howitzer, the Panzerhaubitze 2000.
When we were working with the Peon, my commander kept telling me about the Panzerhaubitze. He said it was his dream to work with it, but he'll probably only see it in a museum. And in a month, we got told that we were going to Germany to master the PzH 2000. For me, it was a bit of a pipe dream. I hope to see it somewhere in an exhibition in Europe, touch it, and see what it was like up close. Because I read about it, I already knew a lot about the PzH 2000 before I went to Germany. But the first time I got to shoot at the range in Germany, it was like sex. It was like, damn, I shot a PzH 2000. I couldn't even dream of it. In Soviet artillery, you had to calculate angle gauges. Here, I just entered the coordinates of the target, the height of the target, the type of ammunition I'm working with, the quantity. I press enter. It calculates everything itself. Then, for example, when I go to the firing position, I can enter it on the go. I mean, I get the targets, our SPH is on the way, and I fill in everything. Then we arrive at the firing position and press 3 buttons. The barrel is unlocked. I press 1 more button, and it fires 5 shots. Tick, 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 tick.
And today I'm honored to talk with the unit that defends the sky over Kyiv on this old but capable machine, the German Gepard.
A crew of 3 operates this beast, watching over the sky day and night. On some missions, the crew spends up to 16 hours inside the tank. Volodya operates the 35mm anti-aircraft guns.
This Gepard's body count is 5 shot-down drones, and on the previous one, we shot down 3 missiles.
Since the filming of this episode, on 25th of November, Russia launched the largest Shahed drone attack on Kyiv. During a 6-hour fight, 74 of 75 drones were shot down. Many believe that this was just a reconnaissance attack. Winter is just beginning, and more air raids are expected.
There will be more massive attacks. They will not let it go. The destruction of our infrastructure is one of their top priorities.
Although in German army the Gepard was discontinued over a decade ago, here in Ukraine it covers a wide array of tasks.
Russia's Air Force uses a mixture of suicide drones, cruise and ballistic missiles to target critical infrastructure. With a radar range of up to 16 kilometers, the Gepard can hit both drones and cruise missiles within a 4-kilometer range. This particular machine was built in 1978, so how is it shooting down modern missiles?
It is not difficult to shoot down. The most important thing is timing, because a cruise missile travels at a high speed. And once it's detected, we then have about 15 to 20 seconds. Only 20% of the work depends on the crew. They fire up the machine, monitor the instruments, and capture the target. The machine does the rest.
Over the past year, Russian tactics have evolved, often involving complex nighttime attacks with various drone-in missile types flying various routes. Deflecting such attacks requires a collective and carefully coordinated effort involving multiple units and systems in multiple locations. Every man and every machine bears an immense responsibility, with millions of lives being at risk. Facing this complex task, the German Gepard has proved its worth, being more cost-effective compared to systems like NASAMS or Patriot, where ammunition costs millions of dollars.
I hope that the machine doesn't fail and that everything works properly, because someone's life depends on it. The thought of missing can be really scary sometimes.
As you can see, German weaponry plays a significant role for the Ukrainian military. In many ways, it outperforms the old Soviet combat vehicles, enabling more effective operations on the battlefield. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the United 24 Media channel for even more thrilling content.